When you think of wizards and magic, what are the first things you think of? Powerful spells, wild versatility, the durability of a wet paper towel perhaps? Welcome to Recluse, Nightreign's magical war crime with legs. She doesn't just cast spells, she weaponizes the periodic fucking table. She's got it all. Holy bleed, frost, fire, lightning, magic, oh boy. However, with all of this power comes... Nope, no. Shut up, Uncle Ben. Comes great complexity. Think of her like a walking vending machine of pain and blessings. Let's break her down. What is your purpose? Recluse is the epitome of a glass cannon. Like, seriously, you'd have more defenses if you walked into a battlefield wearing a Walmart plastic bag around your nuts. She can either be the team carry or the greatest hindrance. With the amount of utility and knowledge required to play Recluse, I can confidently say that she has the highest skill ceiling of all the Nightreign characters. Her strength comes from her versatility, and her ability to either provide fantastic support options for the team, or to become a walking big booby magic firing cannon. Putting it bluntly, Recluse is nothing short of a walking bag of tricks, who can be exactly what you need her to be. If you've ever played a spellcaster in the base game of Elden Ring, then you know how truly annoying it can be to maintain your FP. Recluse takes that problem and shoves it right between your ass cheeks because this bitch ain't got time for that. Her passive, Elemental Defense, lets her absorb the last element used on a target, ally or enemy, converting it into FP and power for her next combo. You're not just stealing magic, you're slurping up the universe like a magical juice box. This passive is essential to keeping Recluse as effective as possible. If you don't absorb the elements, you don't regain FP. If you don't regain FP, you aren't casting spells. And well, if you aren't casting spells, then you're about as useful as a piss-flavored lollipop. So this is what makes Recluse so advanced compared to the rest of the Nightreign cast. When you absorb an element from your target, it gets stored into your magic cocktail. After absorbing 3 elements, your magic cocktail can be activated for a 4th time, which turns into a different variety of spells. They can all be the same element or a variety, which gives you an insane arsenal of abilities at your disposal. There's a lot of them to go over, so grab your pens and paper and start writing this shit down. All magic gives you Tracking Wisp, which flies around and periodically damages your target in bursts. All fire gives you AoE fire damage, which does exactly what it says. All lightning gives you Bloodhound Step, which lets you dodge across the field, avoiding damage easier. Also becoming invisible for 2 seconds, and it's just really hard to hit you. All Holy gives you Divine Shield, which takes you from defenses of a wet paper towel to a dry paper bag. I'm gonna be honest with you, this one's actually kind of useful, but it's fairly weak compared to the other options that are on this list. Now we can begin to mix and match our damage types. Magic and Fire give you Homing Fire Projectile, which floats around your target doing chip damage until it explodes for some AoE damage. Magic and Lightning gives you Conjured Sword, which gives you a chargeable frontal projectile. Magic and Holy gives you Short Time Infinite FP, which again does exactly what it says. You wave your hands around and put up a bubble around you and your team, which negates all FP consumption for a few seconds. Fire and Lightning gives you Fire Blink Bolt, which darts you forward into your target and causes lightning to come crashing down around you. This one looks incredibly cool, but it just launches you straight into your target, so it's going to put you in melee range of pretty much anything you actually want to hit. Fire and Holy gives you Max Health Increase, which does buff your health, but it also reduces status gauge buildup for your team. It will also slightly reduce the max HP for your enemy targets as well. Lightning and Holy gives you Automatic Parry, which lets you walk right up to your targets with reckless abandon and parry their attacks for free. Magic, Fire, and Lightning gives you AoE Gravity Explosion. This will summon a large orb that pulls targets inward and explodes with high damage. It's great for mobs and bosses with many adds. Magic, Fire, and Holy gives you Magic Fire Breath. This ability lets you spew out a cone of holy flame in front of you, dealing damage to multiple targets caught in it, while also regaining your allies' health and FP if they're standing in it. Fire, Lightning, and Holy gives you AoE Lightning, which turns you into Zeus, allowing you to throw a bolt of lightning at the target and then explode with high damage to multiple targets after a couple of seconds. Lastly, we have Magic, Lightning, and Holy, which gives you AoE, Freeze, and Ice armor. This creates a blizzard around you, damaging multiple targets, and encases you in a chunk of ice, protecting you from damage. I mostly use this ultimate as a support tool. When activated, Recluse will dance around for a moment before bursting with red aura, which marks targets close enough to get hit by it. Attacking those marked targets by you or your allies will let your team regain health and FP for every attack they do. I highly recommend using this toward the middle or end of major boss fights for that extra oomph when everyone is low or out of flasks. As always, relics allow us to further boost or change character abilities to your liking. I personally recommend anything that will make your spells cost less FP. Putting it simply, you want to look at FP increases, mind buffs, ult buffs, intelligence, and maybe anything that buffs your preferred spell type. Lastly, look for relics that let you cast Terra Magica on your first elemental pull for your cocktail. This is just going to give you a little extra oomph with your spell casting. Moving on to gear, what you really want to look for are separate locations that provide you with spells best suited to the boss that you're fighting. I'm aware of how fucking simple that sounds, so instead, let me give you a couple of locations that we can focus on. When on your expeditions, look for fort locations, which have chambers up top that have staff racks and a map to reveal scarab locations and hints for some items. Rises can also be helpful for free staves, but they can be really annoying and time consuming, so just be aware of that. You'll also want to check churches for guaranteed seals and incantations. For buffs, I really would look for anything that helps regen FP, lower FP cost, boost and spell damage, and possibly that occasional HP buff just to keep you alive just a little longer. You delicate, dainty flower, you. It's actually fairly difficult to tell you what to grab because, one, there's just a lot of really useful options for Recluse, but also it's just because Recluse is so versatile in weapon and damage types that she can wield that it's almost impossible to say, oh, this is the best, or this is the best. What's best for you is consistently changing, and it really depends on the target and the bosses that you're fighting. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, trying to come up with tips for this bitch is really difficult. From the time I've played her, however, something I can share is to be wary or cautious of the spells that may have been your favorite in the past, because more than likely it's not gonna work as well as you remember. For instance, one of my favorite spells is Comet Azure, the Kamehameha. For Elden Ring, it was a bit easier to get away with its mobility and charge up downsides, but for Elden Ring, a lot of the bosses move around so significantly and have many more AoE attacks that we need to be on the lookout for that I just don't like using this as much as I used to. And that really goes for any spell. Don't get caught up in a spell just because it looks cool to you. Take the time to learn if it's actually effective or if it's just going to get you turned into a bipedal flight. Number 2, take the time to learn the final bosses so that you can prioritize your spell list. Learn their weakness types. Are they multi-stage? Are they a mobile bitch or a senile fuck who just kind of sits there? Learning what spells you enjoy versus what spells are more effective against the boss will really push you forward in your journey as a Recluse player. Alright, that's a very, very dumbed down beginner guide to Recluse. If I missed any combos, spell synergies, or general chaos that you've discovered, drop them in the comments so that other players can benefit too. And if you've mastered Recluse, congrats! You're now certified in advanced spell fuckery. Just take a few moments to learn her spell breakdown, and you'll find that she's an absolute blast to play. I guarantee it.